Guardians of the Galaxy tells the story of Peter Quill, a man from Earth who on the other side of the galaxy decides to save it by teaming up with a group of outlaws. And I certainly have to say that Guardians of the Galaxy is an absolutely fantastic and in fact well-rounded film. From the get-go, there's this kind of quirky, unique, and in fact weird essence that the film possesses, but you are so on board and in fact going with the flow with regards to every single event that's occurring on screen because of how real the characters seem to be and how well realized they actually are. And it's almost fantastic to witness how in the minimal amount of time each and every character's motivation is so beautifully and strongly in fact put across, and how their various needs and motivations and reasons behind them for what they're doing are really interwoven and ultimately work so well to make this extremely unique group of characters that are unique as a group and as individuals really come together. Something I was worried about, something that I thought might have felt forced, but at the end of the day came together so well. And through all this, there's this, dare I say, essence of beauty that the film possesses through each and every one of the characters with regards to certain moments in the film, of course. And I certainly have to say that the film was far more emotionally striking than I had anticipated, and there's this essence of tangibility that the film really has when it exists in a world that is so unknown to us and in fact so unreal to a certain degree that being attached to it is a difficult job, but done because of the characters. And the journey they're on is certainly one I would describe as fun to a certain degree. Rather, while the stakes certainly exist and are once again well presented, there is this extremely overwhelming tone of fun and even energy to a certain degree, which really makes this film have this slick edge about it in certain moments that you do not expect to see certain things occur. The film throws in only something that it in its own little self-contained world could, and ultimately delivers on almost every level. And the world itself that's created is certainly put across in an extremely beautiful manner, of course, and ultimately the presentation of that world is extremely well executed. And while from a technical standpoint the film certainly does succeed, I have to take note of its soundtrack, because if you listen to that soundtrack itself, you get a great idea and a glimpse in fact of what the film is really trying to present. Something that on the surface feels light, but when you really read into it for a moment, it's far heavier than you expect, and something that has this unending amount of intensity and in fact energy and in fact overall positive tone that is something that you don't get to witness all in one bundle, or at least put across well, but Guardians of the Galaxy certainly manages to pull off far more than I could have imagined. Ultimately, Guardians of the Galaxy is something that I believe is a rare find. While I do believe it has this strange kind of universal appeal in terms of the fact that you will find and discover something within this film that you personally enjoyed, I think it's universal in the essence of positivity that it brings about, and the positivity and energy that it gives other human beings is something that I'm extremely satisfied by. And while I'm glad that it certainly does exist and fit in well in the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe, it can exist on its own in and of itself, and ultimately everything that it pulls off is almost to perfection, dare I say. I hate to use that word too often, and I normally don't, but in this particular case, there's beauty, emotion, and perfection that make Guardians of the Galaxy one of the year's best films, if not the best film of the year so far. I'm going to give Guardians of the Galaxy a triple yes.